So today's day 3. I'm going to organize my speech today into 3 main sections. We'll call it the entree, the main course, and the dessert. At the end, I'll just have my usual observations, and to set the scene, I'm just going to tell you a couple things that were on my mind going into the infusion, because those things on my mind ended up having an impact on how the overall treatment worked. So one of the other patients there was talking to me and started to realize I'm quite similar to him, even though I don't want to be. One of the things about him is he has a tattoo of a wolf, because he says that he's growing up being a lone wolf, which is something I can relate to. I suppose a lot of other people can as well. We also talked about our ancestry. I recently got a match on one of those websites, and I just kind of went down that wormhole. Some of the other stuff I've been doing is been playing a lot of chess lately. I don't know why, I just been enjoying that game. And I've been using this other app on my phone called Curable, which is like, it gives you little exercises to cope with pain each day, and little bits of information. So some of those little things ended up having a material impact on my treatment today. So I'll get straight into it. At this point, I've accepted the ketamine. I'm not afraid of it or anything like that. It's more of a tool for me, and it's a very visual tool. I've learned now absolutely that I don't need to go on my phone or anything whilst I'm having the treatment, because everything that I need is all in here. So it's a very inward looking sort of treatment. External things are just, nothing gets enhanced about those things. It's all about inward looking. So I get the treatment, and it goes really well. I know what to expect now. It's important to note that even though the infusion it gives such a powerful effect, it's kind of like being a scuba diver, and they have those distance lines that you can grab onto, and I noticed that I can go really far deep into this, we'll call it a trance, but other levels of consciousness or something are still working perfectly fine. They're just sort of on standby. So occasionally, like, I'll overhear someone ask a question like, what day is it today? And my brain will just go, Wednesday. Like, it'll just know. So I can sort of go down in the depth. I believe I'm on 100 milligram of dosage at the minute. So it hits me pretty good, and I'm able to really delve deep into my thoughts and get past a lot of barriers that I normally put up when I try to be introspective. So I'm feeling really relaxed. I'm finding that making some small talk with the nurses, who I know pretty well now, gets me really calm and relaxed. I'll start with the entree, if you will. My first sort of experience when I close my eyes, I just see what presents itself to me, and I find myself going back in time about 3 or 4 years ago to certain sort of flashpoint sort of events where there's a big before and after that sort of day. But for some reason, they're not the most significant days of my life. There's been days, particularly the days I got injured, like when I had a crash, or the day I got hit by a wave. Normally I ruminate, I replay those days thousands and thousands and thousands of times, over and over and over again. My whole life seems to be defined by these flashpoint moments. Every time I see a date, I think, oh, that's 3 days after that date where it happened. But in my first experience today, I went back in time, and I used my imagination, and I re-visualized certain days that were just, they weren't the biggest days of my life, but they were just sort of in the middle. They were just medium, and I could remember everything about those days. The amount of imagination that I could have was insane. I could remember every angle, every detail, every color. It was like, I haven't even seen the movie, but maybe Inception. It was just incredible. But I did this for 10 minutes or maybe 10 hours. I did that, and ultimately it was unfulfilling. It was measurable, and I made an impact then and there. I did things a little differently, and I I didn't stuff up this situation and I didn't miss this or this or that. I went back and like righted the wrongs, but ultimately I found myself grounded and I realized that those things didn't matter. Nothing about it changed. So after this, I go back to the drawing board, even though I already am existing in the drawing board. I have a break from having a break, I guess. This is mostly a sensory sort of, I can just visualize all these different colors, and it's kind of like a screensaver or something. I'm just sort of waiting to see where my mind takes me next and just have a little breather. A lot of my imagination seems to be like filmmaking. The like camera, if you will, or the lens seems to dolly in and out and zoom and use all these filmmaking sort of ways of looking at stuff, which I find really bizarre and disappointing that something human man-made could penetrate so deep into my imagination, and can't help but think how people from many generations ago would have a different sort of imagination, because even in my most vivid, loose sort of self, I'm still viewing like the world through how it feels in a movie, which was bizarre. So moving to the main course, this is where most of my energy was spent today. I found myself building a sort of a dream team around me of people that I really love, and it was kind of like on this same path of redemption and finding my best version of myself, which is obviously a person without pain. I had all the power in the world in this dream or trance or whatever I was in, and I was kind of just essentially, I was an all-star captain, just assembling my all-star team. All the people that I liked the most in my life were all with me, and I was just picking and choosing everybody. I was kind of like Braveheart or Moneyball, trying to put together this excellent team of people around me to create and build something. Like, it was almost like a cult or a tribe or something. I was just building this all-time team of people around me, and it just made me feel so happy, and I just felt like I could do anything. And I was kind of imagining them all like different chess pieces on the board, and the better the people I had around me, the more angles we could cover and the more we could protect each other and work together and everything. And this felt really good. And I think the comments about the lone wolf and everything kind of got to me, and I was thinking, everything that I have been and everything that I was made me become someone in pain. So it's made me think that I need to do the opposite of that to get the opposite of what I have now, which is the opposite of pain. So it made me feel like I just want this team around me, and I guess we were just building a legacy or something way greater than and bigger than wealth or traditional sort of measures of success. So it was really fun for me to do that, and I just got to be around a lot of childhood friends and people that I love and respect. Everybody was on my side, and they were all rooting for me to get better, and it was really happy for me. I haven't felt that way in a long time. So finally we find ourselves at what I've called dessert. Dessert should be sweet and fulfilling. At this point, I've had enough of the things I was talking about before, and like a helium balloon that has run out of air, it falls back to reality. I find myself grounded and alone again, and I'm imagining some sort of jury, and they're discussing me, and they're weighing up why I have all this pain, which is something I think about a lot, as I don't present any structural abnormalities. And the jury are saying, look at him, he's out of control. I look around and I see so many unfinished projects that I've started. I see rusty dumbbells, I see a bike that doesn't work anymore, I see all these slideshows that are unfinished. There used to be a young inner child in me that had a quick spreadsheet where I'd write down ideas and stuff, and when one day after university, when I have the resources, I'd bring those to life. God knows where that kid is now. I sort of lost hope. So in this final phase of my experience today, I was just walking around. Everywhere I looked, I just saw unfinished things. This sort of jury was talking, and they were just saying, like, this man needs to be in pain. He's dangerous. We need him to stop doing all these things because he can't do it alone. It's just too difficult. This jury appears to weigh up all the good things, all the good evidence of things that I've done in my life. It's very light. It weighs up all the bad things and all the mistakes I've made, all the times I squatted, all the times I rode a motorbike, all the times I got hit by waves when I knew I shouldn't, all the times I ignored advice and tried to do stuff by myself. And it's so heavy, and this inanimate jury just say, we need to shut this man down. He can't do it alone. He won't do it any other way. He just keeps going off by himself like a lone wolf. He just keeps hurting himself. This is what's gonna stop him. Now, obviously, I'm very upset by this. I wanted the guy in the main course, the absolute crazy Napoleon, Genghis Khan, crazy guy from the main course. But now I'm just a pained individual. I try to think about who I am now and this best version of myself and how to get from there to there. And the pain feels like the barrier. It's such a big barrier, I can't even find myself. So in my trance, I'm looking for myself. I don't know what I look like. I can imagine all my childhood friends and siblings and everything, but everywhere I go, I can't find myself. I can't find my reflection. And this is obviously really distraught for me. I'm reminded by something that I read recently, and it said, if you're someone that has so much pain and you're thinking, if only I didn't have all this pain, I could do X, Y, Z, there's a good chance that it could be the other way around. You need to do X, Y, Z to get out of pain. So it was difficult for me to stomach all of that. Ultimately, the tail end of my experience just involved me and my friends, I guess, just trying to find myself. I conclude that I need to find that best version of myself, but I just can't find that person. And the ketamine infusion just let me move through all the barriers and try to find that person. Unfortunately, today I wasn't able to find that person, but I feel like I made a lot of good headway, and I at least have some sort of discernible goals about the direction I'm heading. It was a hell of a journey. I feel like I raced through space, time, or nothing at all. So this has got me all feeling like a lot of information overload and very distraught, but it feels good as well. I guess the question I want to answer is, if it wasn't for all this pain, who would I be? I just didn't have an answer for that. I searched everywhere. I ran through every scenario. I had all the help I could imagine. I had my own dream team. I had everybody helping me, everybody cheering for me, but I just couldn't find who I was supposed to be. I could imagine the circumstances that I wanted, but I just couldn't figure out who is that kind of person that doesn't have pain. I'm so close. That leads me to the reflections. I guess the first thing to note is, in my wildest dreams, nowhere did money or power or control come by. It was all about good friends and positive experiences and legacies. So that was really good for me. In a more grounded, everyday sense, I think about what my purpose is and what sort of goals I want. I find it so difficult, and people living in pain like myself, it is so hard to plan ahead. It is so difficult. It gives you tunnel vision. You're in fight or flight mode because you're just in this place of fear, and you're just always trying to run away from something, and it gives you tunnel vision. You never really get to connect with experience, and where you have experience, you have unique and novel experiences that lead to emotions. The emotions are like happiness and joy and fulfillment. Those things make you do things for fun. That's where a lot of skills are learned. That's where you build on those skills, and you have all these fun things when you're healthy, and you can do what you set out to do each day. When you're in pain, you just want to survive. You just want to get through the day. I'm losing control in my hand and fingers from nerve issues, and I can barely even type. I'm just worried that I'm not going to have a job. I'm so concerned that my world is just getting so small because I am just wanting to get through the day. Just get through the day, sleep. That's what I've been trying to do for so long. So the ability from the infusion today, it let me believe and dream big, and I haven't got to do that in so long, and it's got me feeling really excited. I'm going to write out my goals tonight and things that I want to do, and I'm just going to act like I'm going to get there. Being in pain makes you so hesitant because you start to get excited, and I'm a kind of person to keep a spreadsheet and record results. It's so depressing when you get injured again and you have to give up on that, and then you've got all this documentation that proves you've failed. Like I said, with happiness and joy, there's just so much openness. With sadness, you're locked away, you're in fear, and you just want to get through the day. There's no goals, there's no looking ahead, there's just the now and getting through. And for me, I guess the infusion really helped me break through that, and I'm thinking ahead, and I'm starting to dream big for the first time in a long time, and it's got me feeling really excited. It's got this energy in me that I haven't felt in a long time. So I was able to see past my injury, and I was able to really just dream. I've got hope now. Sometimes that's all you need. Perhaps the best reflection I've had is that I've been overgeneralizing everything so much. Being in pain has made me think that failing in one area feels like failing in all areas. There's no novel sort of experience. So for me to start planning goals and make progress towards them, it's kind of making me feel like I have all these different avenues in my life, whereas before I've been stuck in this paradigm for years now that it's difficult to discern parts of my life. Failing at one thing just feels like failing at everything. It just feels like all or nothing, and my personality type has just fueled that massively because I am a perfectionist, and I would rather do it absolutely perfectly or not at all. And making these crappy YouTube videos is a good step towards getting out of that because these are not perfect. So we'll leave it at that. The plan tomorrow is to go in hard and just find out what those barriers were and just try and see what's possible and work through. It's taken a lot of years. It's taken about 7 years of being in severe pain each day. That's really affected me, and I realize it's going to be a hell of a battle to get out. So I'm on my way. I'll be back with an update tomorrow.